Greetings to you all. My name is Benjamin Ferencz, and I am now speaking to you from Delray Beach, Florida. I want to thank Jennifer Trahan for the invitation to be with you at this meeting, particularly since I have many old friends there, including David Katine, whom I knew when he was still a young boy. I am now in my 97th year. I was a poor immigrant boy whose parents came to the United States from Central Europe in order to escape persecution and poverty. We lived in New York City, in Hell's Kitchen, for my earliest years, and in due course I decided that I would rather be on the side of the law rather than the lawbreakers. I was admitted to the Harvard Law School. They gave me a scholarship for my exam on criminal law. And when the war broke out, that's World War II, I, of course, tried to enlist and eventually succeeded in getting accepted in the Army. They recognized that I had done the research for a professor of international criminal law who had written a book on war crimes, so they made me a private in the artillery. Typical Army wisdom. In due course, I landed on the beaches of Normandy. I crossed the Rhine on a pontoon bridge. I was there at the Battle of the Bulge, the final battle of the war, for all of which the Pentagon blessed me with 5 battle stars for having not been killed, for which I was most grateful. However, in the last months of the war, as we began occupying France and Germany, we began to run into scenes which were rather indescribable. One day I was tapped on the shoulder and told to report to General Patton's headquarters. He had been ordered to set up a war crimes branch. My name had been forwarded, I was told, from Washington to set up a war crimes branch. I believe I was the first man in the United States Army to set up any war crimes activity. I became a war crimes investigator. I entered many of the concentration camps as they were being liberated, beginning with Buchenwald and going through Mauthausen and a host of others. I saw the horrors of war itself firsthand, not merely in the battles on the battlefield with dead soldiers lying around, but in the camps themselves with dead bodies lying all over the floor. You couldn't tell if they were dead or alive. Skeletons piled up in front of the crematoria waiting to be burned, and horrors which were really indescribable. And in my investigative work, I had occasion to dig up bodies of American soldiers who had been killed or murdered by a lynch mob when they were captured for having landed in occupied territories. And I saw the horrors of war, which certainly have had an indelible impression on my mind, because ever since, I have dedicated myself to trying to prevent war making itself. That's not an easy thing to do, as you know. The definition of aggression is still being debated, not in the definition per se, but whether the International Criminal Court, which now finally exists after 50 years of effort on my part as well as others, this is still being debated. The International Court is beginning. It's having the problems of every prototype, but it's the beginning, and we are moving forward to a more humane and rational world, which is what I asked for in the Einsatzgruppen trial in Germany, where I was the chief prosecutor and convicted defendants of having murdered over 1 million people in cold blood because they didn't share the race, the religion, or ideology of their executioners. I have been trying to avoid the repetition of that by creating an international court whose decisions can be enforced by a court of law. Until we get that, I'm afraid that there is no way you can stop the endless conflicts which have been going on. You cannot kill an ideology with a gun. And the recognition that force is not the best solution to the problem. Sometimes it increases the problem. The medicine is worse than the ailment. We have to learn compassion. We have to learn compromise. It's not a sign of weakness to compromise. You need courage to dedicating yourself to new thinking outside the box. And the thinking should always be molded around a slogan that I have, law, not war. How the world would change if you could turn to law instead of killing people you don't even know for reasons you don't quite understand. Law, not war, should be the guide for every lawyer. And you say, how do you do that? My standard answer is never give up. Never give up, and it's up to you to never give up. Good luck to you all, and best wishes. Ben Ferencz, now aged 96.